So hi, I'm Dr. Ali Jaffee. I'm an NHS junior doctor. I've been practicing for 3 years and I'm about to embark on a career in psychiatry. So it sounds quite strange, but I've wanted to be a psychiatrist since I was 14, and that was about 14 years ago now. And it came from quite a tragic story, and I think that's the case for a lot of people who want to serve out others in mental health. And that came at a time when I was in my early teens, and I found out how my maternal grandfather died, which was very sadly by suicide, and he was a doctor in South Africa. And that for me really sowed the seeds of wanting to serve others who are most vulnerable in society and help them thrive in life and not be discriminated against. So I'm a big believer in compassionate leadership and also talking about and role modelling vulnerability as strength. I respect personally my seniors and those that lead me a lot more if they're able to be candid and vulnerable with me, and we don't have this hierarchical othering as such where, for instance, if you think about it like the doctor and the patient, I'm the doctor and you're the patient. I'm here to serve you. You're weak and vulnerable. I can't learn anything from you. I'm much more interested in that bi-directional exchange of value and knowledge where we can learn from one another, and teacher to student as well, and really both talk about our vulnerabilities and both just really talk about this shared humanity and what it means to be human, and that everyone can actually be vulnerable at times in their life, no matter if you're the CEO, the headmaster, an NHS consultant, or a student or a patient. So I am a very visual person, and I also love nature. So I love everything that you do at Seaford around outdoor education. I was blown away by all the forest schools, things that I saw. And so for me, what I like to imagine is that if your mind is a garden, you have to lay the foundation for a healthy soil. And for me, that's all about mindset and how we think and understanding our inner psychological system. So if you imagine that you are laying down that soil first and understanding why it is I think the way that I think, and also why my reality is actually generated by my thinking. And when you can have that awareness, which is something that I gained through coaching and therapy, that you are not your thoughts and that your thoughts are responsible for your feelings, but you can actually alter that, it becomes very empowering, and that's the first mindset shift. And then the seeds that you plant to make your garden bloom, for me, all come after that, because alone they won't lead you to success and contentment, but they're very important. So one of the seeds is all about purpose, and for me that's serving others in the world of mental health, whether that's me in an NHS psychiatry setting or me talking to all of you today and being able to impact the lives of parents, teachers and students. And then the second seed is all about being brave and having self-belief. And so I always say it's important to just believe in yourself even before you see the evidence of why you're great, because those are all externally validated. So have that inner belief, and when the inner conditions are right, I do believe that a lot of success can emerge. And it goes back to that beautiful imagery of how an acorn bears an oak tree without even knowing. The acorn has got the power and the intelligence system to know that it will prosper into something great. And then the other seeds are around authenticity. So I think it's so important, especially in schools where there's cliques and where there's molds of how you should act and how you should be, that we talk about being true to yourself. And I felt that when I was at school, I managed to be true to myself, but it was a fight because I wanted to sometimes be with the in crowd or whatever, but I realised like certain things weren't for me, like I wasn't very sporty and things like that. And if you own it, you feel a lot more comfortable with yourself. And so I always say it's okay to be you, it's okay to say no to things, it's okay to say I don't know, it doesn't make you any lesser, and it's okay to say yes to opportunities but not yet, because it's all about putting your own oxygen mask on first before serving others. And lastly, it's really okay to not be okay at times and to ask for help. So that brings me on to the other seed, which is all about connection, and I know that's something you're really big at Seaford, and I'm a big believer in standing on the shoulders of giants, finding mentors, asking for help, using social media as the blessing that I believe it is, although it is demonised often, to connect with like-minded people and to find people who share a common purpose that you can take action with together. And so that leads me on to probably one of the final C's, which is action, and that's all about taking some small steps to achieve goals and thinking about progress over perfection and thinking that something is always better than nothing. And that's kind of like how I try and build my mind garden. I understand resilience best through a metaphor that I learned during coaching, and it's all about imagining a cloudy day. So when it's a cloudy day, the sun is obviously clouded and it's covered up. But actually, when we think about the sun as our well-being and the clouds as our thoughts and our self-limiting beliefs, the sun is always there. So your well-being and your resilience is always there. There are just some days where you might not be able to see it and see that you're in a negative, biased thought pattern, and actually you are okay. And it's okay to actually have those moments, but then there's often this awareness that comes later and clarity to say, oh, that was just my thinking. I just made up that situation into my own psychodrama. So when I first drove into Seaford, I was very welcomed by the abundance of green space, and I'm such a big believer in the power of nature, and we know that just even the colour green has the ability, from what research shows, to reduce our blood pressure and put us into a state of calm. So I can't imagine how blissful it must be to go to school in this environment or work in this environment as a teacher and be surrounded by such beauty and such opportunities. When I drove in, I really just thought the green space was abundant, as well as the opportunities with all the different buildings, from the arts blocks to the wellbeing centre that you have. It's really just incredible to see how there's been no stone left unturned and everything's been thought about for the health, wellbeing and prosperity of the young people that you're nurturing. I think what I'm really seeing today is holism, which is something I'm so just passionate about, because I think too much we silo off things, and you can see today that a lot of the students who won science prizes also won art prizes, and so we can really see the connection between right brain and left brain and not having to stay in a lane and being holistic, well-rounded individuals. And you can see that from all the different extracurricular things you offer, from the drama and the wonderful West Side Story singing we had to the great talks from the sportswomen and sportsmen. And so, yeah, I think it's a very warm and forward-thinking environment.